Hello tabletop fans, welcome back. We have another unboxing for you. This time we're going to do Vital Assets, but before we start I also want to make a quick introduction of me. I am Frank, I just recently started working here. Most of you probably already know me, if not, drop by in the store and we're gonna meet each other. See you one day. Alright, so anyway, we've been waiting a long time for this one, so I am really eager to start getting unboxing this one, so let's go to the table. Alright, so we're back. So here we are. Vital Assets for Star Wars Legion. So before we open it up, the important thing to know first is what exactly is this expansion. Because it's an expansion for everyone, so it doesn't really matter if you play Empire, Separatists, Rebels, anything. So this pack adds new missions, new objectives, all those special cards as well as along with some new miniatures and a new system, sort of like resources that you can gather in the middle of battle. So let's crack this one open. So it has actually been quite a while before this one came in, but finally it's here. So first, right out of the box, what I'm seeing are the sprues. So let's take a look at the sprues first. So there we go. So these are all parts for the new objective card. So we got in the objective card, we got things like bombing runs, supply crates, and all these things also represent a miniature as well in the game. So right here we got some more of those bombs and those crates as well. And the real cool thing about this one, or this is what I think is the coolest about this kit, is we actually have some prisoners. There's a new mission in there that requires you to extract a prisoner. So we have one that represents sort of like a Viceroy Gunray miniature for the Separatists. And you also have a sort of like a Rebel or Republic politician kind of miniature as well. But again, this is a set for all the factions, so you don't necessarily need to play clones or separatists or whatever. You can use this well with every faction. So those are the miniatures that we get in here as well. And I also have some bases here for your objectives. So of course you need some bases to pre-measure everything as well. But the most important content is probably in this card pack. So let's open this one up. Alright, so let's start with the big cards first. So every category, so you have of course your missions, you have your deployments, and you have your condition cards. They all get 3 new ones. So right now in Legion you only have 5 ones and you need to pick 4. So there's not a whole lot of deck building yet, but these ones really add a lot of flavor and new content to that perspective of the game. So let's start with the new mission ones first. So first we have the hostage exchange. So again, this is where the miniature, the prisoner miniatures get used in. So give us a minute to focus that in the camera. Just a second, we're working on it. There we go. All right. So first off, you have. I'm not probably not going to read everything out loud, but to give you a quick idea is you both use a hostage miniature, and you need to try and extract that to your deployment point. And one of those units gets that miniature in his unit, and they're basically sort of like safe for just one turn because they cannot be attacked in the first turn. So this is a really cool mission. I cannot wait to play this one actually because I really think this is going to, people are sort of forced to make new creative lists with this one, which I think is really interesting as well. So you guys can pause the video later on and read this one carefully yourself, but a really cool one as well. So this one has also gotten a lot of attention, which is there we go, the bombing run. So the idea of the bombing run is that vehicle units, and I believe only vehicle units, if I remember correctly, sorry, not just vehicle units, but it makes vehicle units very interesting, is you need to drop those new bomb tokens, or in this case miniatures, because you get awesome miniatures with it, to the deployment zone of your enemy. So all those speeder units, for example, that sadly Rebel speeder, that is really awesome model, but you don't see a whole lot of the table, is actually probably going to get a new, a second wind, because I think units like that are going to be really interesting with this mission. So the idea is to drop those bomb tokens as quickly as possible in your opponent's deployment zone to score victory points. So this one has gotten a lot of attention in the community as well. And of course, it also can deal some damage because they're bombs. So here we go. So it's a range 1 area attack. 3 red dice, which is insane. I'm really not going to like that as my separatists are walking in there with those, those weak B1s with the white defense die. Again, it's blast, so it ignores cover. So cover is not going to have any use in it. And suppressive, which makes it all the better. Suppressive means you get a suppression token after an attack. And since it's a ranged attack, it means you actually get 2 suppression tokens. Alright, and then we have the last one, the payload. And to be honest, this one is actually new to me as well. I haven't read it in the fullest yet. So we can take a quick look what the idea is. So starting with the blue player, each player places a bomb card within their deployment zone. Each player controls the bomb card that they place. Then, starting with the blue player, each player marks a piece of terrain by placing 1 objective token, matching their opponent's color on the terrain piece. Each chosen terrain piece cannot be within a deployment zone, but can overlap a deployment zone. Alright, so at the end of each round, starting with the blue player, each player's bomb card may pivot and then perform a speed 2 move. If there are more friendly unit leaders than enemy unit leaders at range 1 of it. So for the victory condition, at the end of the game, each player gains 1 victory token if their bomb card is at range 2 of the terrain piece marked, with an objective token matching their color. 2 victory tokens if it is at range 1 of that terrain piece, or 3 victory tokens if it is in base contact with the terrain piece. So again, this is one of those missions that's probably just going to add a lot of flavor to it, make some interesting new lists out there. So we really have to play some matches to figure out what's going to happen with this card as well. So really excited to play all these new missions. Just to give you a quick heads up as well, we probably very soon in the near future going to also live stream some battle reports. So keep an eye out for our channel. Let's go with the new deployment zones, because there are some interesting here as well. So we first have this one, danger close, and you can also probably see why, because you have 2 edges on that map that's really close to each other, and then one part that's at the sort of like a long march effect. Really interesting. What I really like about these new cards is they really use some new weird shapes. So this one is still symmetrical, but it's something we haven't seen before. So no special abilities here, so just the deployment zones. Alright, for the next one, rollouts. So this one is actually focused on vehicles, because, as the name might suggest, during the deployment phase, each vehicle may deploy within range 1 of a friendly deployment zone. So those juicy new droids, clone tanks, or even older vehicles like AT-STs or grav tanks, they can deploy very beyond the deployment zone, and most of those vehicles have some crazy long range weapons as well. which makes them all the more dangerous on this deployment zone. So if you are playing vehicles and your opponent isn't, this is a really good card to play as well. And then the last one, which is sort of like, just by looking at it, my favorite one, because this one looks super crazy. All right, so it's called Hemmed In. So let me see if I can focus it a little bit more for you. There we go. All right, so what I really like about this one is that it isn't symmetrical. So a lot of cards in Legion are like symmetrical shapes, and this one is really different, which, I don't know, gives it a different flavor, or you need to be different probably in your tactical approach or the way you play the game. So as you can see, the red player has 2 divided deployment zones on top here, and then the blue player has sort of like a smaller one in the bottom here. Again, really need to play some matches first before I really know what this deployment actually will do for the game, but it looks really interesting, so I cannot wait to start playing this one as well. All right, so for the setup cards, we have 1 set left, which is the condition cards. So what these ones actually are, some of you who might have played Skirmish might have noticed that most of these cards are sort of like the Skirmish variants, but now also available in the standard 800 point formats as well. So the first one is fortified positions, which means just like in the Skirmish one, you and your opponent are going to deploy barricades. So instead of just setting up barricades as 6 terrain, this one is either going to add additional barricades to your game, or you can just decide on, don't place any barricades at all in case you're playing fortified positions. But you're going to alternate deploying your barricades with your opponent. You're going to place a total of 8 barricades, which means everybody gets to place 4, and then also you need to keep them, or it must be deployed inside their deployment zone, and it also must be deployed zone or within range 1 or 2 of their deployment zone. And each barricade must be placed horizontally. Just for you people who thought you could place barricades vertically, no, you can only place them horizontally. All right, so War Weary. So again, me as a Separatist player think this card is kind of scary because normally, as you most of you players might know, is your commanders give you a courage bubble, which means that most of your forces won't run away because your commander has a high courage value. But this one actually reduces that value. So normally you can check your courage range, and it's a range of 3, and sometimes if you upgrade it, it's a range of 4. But it's reduced by 2 in this case. Which me as a Separatist player with a lot of like weak scary droids really want to make use of that one. So yeah, but this one can also be very interesting. And then we have the last one, which is the supply drop. And so this one is actually probably the one that influences the deck the most, because this uses the new supply rule as well. So I'm just gonna read for a moment. Prepare the supply deck, which is the new deck we're going to in a moment. Starting with the blue player, players alternate placing condition tokens face down on the battlefield until 6 tokens have been placed. Each token must be placed beyond range 1 of each deployment zone and beyond range 1 of any other condition token. Non-creature trooper units gain free action resupply, which means you can do something or gather those cards in those new decks. So let's take a quick look at those cards as well. So except for the hostages, let me show those ones as well first. So here you have the hostages cards as well. And the other one. There we go. So they are the same actually, but they have different artwork, of course. And here we go. Here we have the supply deck. So we have 2 copies of Bacta capsules. Just a moment. All right, so it has a free action, threat 1, capacity 1. So treat means you get to heal wounds off of the miniature, which is attached to you. So it's basically a free heal up action. You can also potentially return a model to the unit if it's been killed in the same turn. So yeah, pretty nice. We have a arc welder, which is basically the same as healing, but for vehicles. So you get repair 1, capacity 1, so you can only heal once, but you can remove a wound from a vehicle unit. Alright, so next we have camouflage. Alright, so when you are declared as a defender against a ranged attack, until the end of the round you gain low profile. While defending, if you have light cover, improve your cover by 1. So if your unit has this, and for example you're all out in the open, if you have light cover, you improve your cover by 1, which becomes heavy cover. So it can be a nice upgrade as well to find on the field. The next one is the Grapnel Harpoon. So on that, once again, a free action. Until the end of your activation, you gain skill. And we also have a new icon right here, which I honestly don't know yet what it does. Alright, so I just heard that it means it's one use only. So after using this, you need to get rid of this card. So you can only use it once. So for a free action you gain skill, and so what skill does is before or after a move you can do a free climb or clamber, and what skill also does is it automatically gives you to ignore difficult terrain. So skill is a really cool keyword to have to jump over terrain or move across a difficult terrain piece. So next up we have precision scopes. So no more targeting scopes, this time we have precision scopes. And so what precision scopes do is, while performing a ranged attack, during the roll attack dice step, gain 1 aim token. Which is really cool as well, really handy, and it also has an exhaust icon, so you need to exhaust it after you use it. But that means that even if you recover, you can use it again. So when you find this on your units, really nice as well. Free aim tokens is always good. Next up we have the targeting rangefinder. So while performing a ranged attack during the roll attack dice step, you gain marksman, and what marksman does is, while attacking you can spend aim tokens to improve attack die results. So if I remember correctly, I think improve attack die was you can either make a search a hit or you make a hit a crit, was something like that? I believe so. I have to double check, to be honest, but yeah, it makes your dice all the better, and I think you can also improve your blanks as well. So yeah, so you can sort of like I said, improve your dice, which is really nice. But again, it's only a one-time use only, so make sure to use it at the best time you can. So we have 2 more before we're done. This one called Holoprojector. During the issue order step of the command phase, issue an order to yourself or another friendly unit at range 1. So this is like a HQ uplink, but a little bit better because you don't just have to do it on yourself. Again, it's only one-time use, so once you use it, it's done. You have to discard it. But yeah, this one can be really nice as well. I wouldn't mind finding this as a droid player, to be honest. So that was this one. And then the last one of the resource pack is the field scanner. And so what the field scanner does is, while defending against a ranged attack, during the applied dodge and cover step, gain 1 dodge token. So this is a similar one to the scope one, except it gives you dodges. Also exhaust, so you can use it multiple times if you're ready. But yeah, it gives you a little bit of extra defense. And I can even imagine if you find this on a character that has deflect, for example, can be a really good treat to get double dodge tokens, double deflect. So yeah, these are all the cards and all the miniatures from the new pack. So I really cannot wait to play with this pack. It just adds a lot of new flavor to the game. Once again, I cannot say this enough. It's something for all the factions. So this is one of those packs that even if you're a Rebel player, an Imperial player, you want to get this. It just adds a lot more flavor to your game. So yeah, I'm maybe going to try to play a match with Matthijs next week. With these cards. I'm really excited, looking forward to it. But for now, this was the video, so thank you for watching. We're going to do more of this in the future, so keep an eye out for our channel or our YouTube channel, or follow us on Facebook. And thank you very much. See you next time.